What's up, everyone? How are you doing? I hope you're all doing okay. Thank you so much for your support. I do appreciate. We are now road to 3,000 subscribers. Imagine we are remaining with less than 50 subscribers to reach 3,000. So kindly, if you have not subscribed to this channel, consider subscribing and join this family. So in today's video, there's this Chinese lady who came after blacks. He's telling us that we should stop playing racism cards, the racist cards. So she's trying to tell us that we, as blacks, we should stop playing the racism cards. What do you think? So let's watch this video till the end so that we can know what I'm talking about, and also we can come back with more comments. Let's watch till the end to know what I'm talking about, and kindly give this video a like, share with your friends. Yes, let them know about this channel and let them know what's going on, so, and give this video a comment of what you think about it. So let's watch this video till the end, then we come back with more comments.
Because I'm tired of black people using the race card all.
And I'm tired of seeing the same people who benefited from our fight for civil rights using those freedoms to pursue white validation. But I'm going to focus on something else here, y'all. Instead of me reading her the way that I normally would, I'm going to break her down for y'all and give you a lesson in white adjacency 101 because she's a prime example. So first and foremost, keep in mind that this is an Asian woman, and don't think she didn't factor that in when she said what she said. She knows that we can't push back and say that she doesn't know marginalization or she doesn't know what it's like to be mistreated by white people, because historically speaking, the Asian community does. But she's allowing herself to be a spokesperson, if you will, for white supremacy, because that allows her to maintain her position within it, which is white adjacency, because there's power there. But the reason she can disconnect herself from her history in a way that we can't is because her present looks very different. Black people are still actively fighting the same history, which is why we have to keep it in the forefront of our minds. We can't allow ourselves to stop being diligent because history is constantly trying to repeat itself. But in her community, things have advanced to a place where she can feel audacious, clearly. If you think about it, that's probably true, because when there's an influx of crime in the Asian community, what did we do? Stop Asian hate bill immediately. And I'm not saying that shouldn't have happened. It should. But we don't see that type of quick action when it's black people. So she's coming from a place of privilege, again, which stems from her white adjacency. And honestly, y'all, if you're paying attention, what she's doing is trying to conflate name calling with actual racism. Racism in this country is systemic, systems of oppression. They were built specifically to marginalize black people and then included people like her. She's talking about that in comparison to name calling white people. And don't think that she really cares about white people's feelings, because she doesn't. She's saying this to secure her position within white supremacy because she's learned from her pale skin that there's power in being white adjacent. That's what she's protecting. And she's also highlighting her disregard for anybody else's experiences, and also her lack of empathy, which again, I believe stems from white supremacy. She has this sense of entitlement about her that makes her feel validated in trying to reprimand or chastise us in our behavior. She thinks that we should play nice with our oppressor because the oppressors are no longer oppressing her the way that they used to, even though they're still treating us the same way. And if you notice, because there's a lot of layers here, she still has no empathy as far as how we're treated in the past or in the present. If you think about somebody and their traumas, right? You know that, let's say that somebody has a fear of dogs because they've been mauled by a dog. We expect them to be scared of dogs, to hate dogs, to not want to be around them. We don't get that same grace extended to us, even though we've had some of the worst atrocities committed against us by white people. Yet she sits here conflating feelings with systems. All we can do is hurt white people's feelings, but they can weaponize their feelings against us and use the systems created to hurt us. They can call the police, weaponize their tears, and get us killed, get us fired. There's differences here. And that's what she's not saying. So y'all start paying attention to what's not being said, because that's usually what speaks the most volumes.
I'm tired of black people using the race card all.
I just want to say that obviously not every single Asian agrees with her or thinks that way. And I think stuff like this sets communities back. So here are some quick reminders that will set things into perspective. Black people did not drop nuclear bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Black people did not drop Agent Orange in Vietnam. Black people did not put Asian people in concentration camps. Black people did not sign off on the Chinese Exclusion Act. As a minority in America, I'm very thankful for the black community for their sacrifices they have made for pushing the civil rights for minorities. I am not an expert in politics or social policies. I'm just a tech bro software engineer, but I do think that this is a prime example of why education on minority issues such as slavery and systemic racism should be taught more in depth in classes. I think another problem is that education around American slavery and its impacts isn't really taught around the world. So I just want to emphasize one more time that education around minority issues needs a revamp, not just in the United States, but also around the world. Because the current education around this stuff is evidently not working, because there's people in power who believe that slavery benefited Black people, which is insane.
Deprecating because of your ancestors' sins. Stop apologizing for something that you didn't do.
Nothing in that woman video had anything to do with you or the Asian community. You want to know something funny? Every Asian person I know will tell you that Asian people are some of the most racist people you'll ever meet in your life because y'all are racist to each other. Why are you worried about what some black girl is saying about white people? It ain't got nothing to do with you. Mind your own business. And everything is like deeper than what y'all thinking. It amazes me that everybody just don't understand. We didn't even gave y'all a whole analogy. The analogy is Black people feel about slavery how white people feel about 9/11.
I'm done with you Asians who think having a race war with the Black community is in our favor. No, it fucking is not. And y'all always want to bring up Black people attacking Asians during the post-COVID era, which has happened a few times, but guess what, bitch? There are gonna be bad people in every race. Remember, anti-Asian is always rooted in white supremacy, but a person of any race can be influenced by white supremacy. So those Black people that attacked us were subscribing to the white supremacist narrative that Asians caused COVID. And if you blame Black people as a whole for the anti-Asian hate crimes, you are subscribing to the white supremacist narrative that Black people are inherently aggressive. And y'all Asians who are like, why aren't Black people standing with us? Bitch, be grateful because they've always stood with us. Frederick Douglass in 1882 made the time to openly denounce the Chinese Exclusion Act while the Black community was going through so much, such as rampant lynchings against them. They worked hand in hand with us to free the Japanese people in the internment camps in 1942. And we directly benefited from Black-led civil rights movements every single time. So stop blaming and demanding things from them and unlearn your anti-Blackness first.
I'm tired of Black people using the race card all the time and then be like, yeah, your ancestors enslaved.
Dude, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Stop trying to be a pick-me girl. You sound so stupid. What was it about that video that made you feel so It wasn't even about you. That video had nothing to do about the Asian community at all, and you felt the need to insert yourself in for why. Your opinions don't matter, okay? And on top, what, like, I don't understand why we can't just get along. I don't understand why you felt the need to say some shit. Listen, the sooner you start realizing that we're all very similar, the more you will understand that we are all allies for a reason.
Because I'm tired of Black people using the race card all the time.
Hi guys, so I want to talk about this video piece by piece, point by point. Before I get into it, I'm going to be referencing white adjacency a lot. If you don't know what white adjacency is, then I would encourage you to check out this creator's lovely response to Olivia. The first thing Olivia does is talk about the use of bleach demons, insinuating that it's some type of slur for white people. One thing that's important to remember about slurs across all demographics is that there is historical context and violence behind it, something that this term lacks. The next thing that Olivia does is try to censor herself in the argument, asking, do you have a word for Asians as well? Do you have a word for Black people as well? There is a word for both demographics. One for Black people is the N-word, which was created by white people. One created for Asian people is a CH word that was also created by white people, specifically whenever there was an influx of Chinese immigrants. So yes, there are words to dehumanize Asian people, but they weren't created by Black people. She then brings up the next point, where she says that she's tired of Black people using the race card because they were enslaved hundreds of years ago. Now, her use of hundreds of years ago is important. She's insinuating that racism stopped after slavery, as if we didn't get segregation, Jim Crow, police brutality, mass incarceration, gentrification, redlining, voter disenfranchisement. The list literally goes on. Next thing Olivia does is bring up the same old talking point that right-wing conservatives have. The idea that every culture had slaves. And I don't really understand this point because no one's arguing that every culture hasn't had slavery to some extent. I would just say that every single culture didn't have chattel slavery, nor did they have a racial caste system. Next thing Olivia does is bring up another right-wing conservative talking point. And I'm going to quote her now. And you know what the best part is? Native Africans kept slaves. They participated in the transatlantic slave trade. People bring this point up to say that, oh, well, even like black people were enslaving black people. But I think that people who bring this point up fail to realize that just because Africans have the same skin tone does not mean that they are all the same people. They are not a homogenous group. Not then and not now. This is where I get into Asian Americans having proximity to whiteness or adjacency to whiteness. Let me be clear that the only reason why the system of whiteness allows Asian Americans the benefits of white supremacy is because it is beneficial to the system of whiteness. It's called racial mascoting. You can get a demographic that was once heavily oppressed in the United States to say that racism doesn't exist. It makes other minorities look bad. Partially, I think that Asian Americans who hold this view know that their ties to white supremacy are incredibly fragile. It is again beneficial to keep Asian Americans on the side of the oppressor. Meanwhile, black people have gotten nothing like that. We never got reparations, and any time it's ever been brought up, it's been immediately shot down. You have to understand that just because you are no longer oppressed, doesn't mean every other minority has that privilege. Let me be clear that whenever Asian Americans are no longer beneficial to the upholding of white supremacy, they will drop you too.
Tired of black people using the race card all the time and then be like, yeah, your ancestors enslaved mine.
As an Asian person, you cannot make an opinion on the black community and expect it to be respected. If you are not part of the community, don't talk about it. Just echo the voices or don't. That's it. Just because you're part of a marginalized community does not mean you can also talk over other marginalized communities. When you boggle down someone's entire position to them using the race card, you are just upholding the values of white supremacy. You're doing that. You're suggesting that race isn't a factor into how society treats people, denying systemic racism.
Now that you have listened to this video, and I think the video was deleted according to, because she posted it on TikTok, and because of the TikTok guidelines, the video was removed by TikTok. So whatever is here, this is just what people got before she deleted the video. And this lady is trying to tell us that as blacks, we should forget about our history. That is one thing that she said in the video. As blacks, we should forget about our history. How are we going to forget about our history, guys? Surely tell me. How can you forget about the history that made you who you are? Because for us, our ancestors are the ones who made us to be here. Without our ancestors, we could not be here. Without the history of our ancestors, we could not be doing whatever we are doing right now. So for you telling us that as blacks, they should forget about the history, whatever happened, about the slavery thing, how are we going to forget about it? And even this thing, I think up to nowadays, it's still continuing. So I wonder when someone just comes up and tell you should forget about your history. That's so wrong, one thing. And another thing, she's telling us that as blacks, we should stop, not we should forget, but we should stop playing racism cards. That we should be telling, oh, these people, what about the whites? Do you know how the whites called us the blacks? Do you know the name that the whites called us the blacks? And there's those people who still believe that. As whites, there are those ones who still believe that we are whatever they called us. There's no way you're going to convince them that these people are not like this, because they read it in the history or they were being told back then. And they still have that in mind, that these blacks are these people, are this thing. I hope you know what they call us. So for you coming up, you are not a black. For you coming up telling us that we should forget about our history, we should forget the racist thing. But in this video, there are those people who have come up and say that she was around some big job, so maybe she's trying to protect the job, the community where she's coming from. But I love how people from her race, are against her. That it was so bad. It's like you're still fighting us, you see. So that was really bad. So that was it for this video of today. At least each and every day we get to learn something, and You can comment in the comment section. What do you think? Should the blacks forget about their history? What of other races? Should they also forget about their history? And should we stop playing racism card? Do you think as blacks we play racism cards so much? Should we stop that? And if you do that, should we stop that? So what do you think about her opinion? Though that's her opinion, what do you think about it? Tell us in the comment section what you think about what she said in the video. So kindly, if you have watched this video up to this point, thank you so much. I love you so much. You have a special place in my heart, you know. And kindly give this video a like. The more likes, the more YouTube will recommend this video to other people. And also share with your friends. Tell them about this channel, tell them about the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not. Comment what you think about the video, and also feel free to join our membership, guys. We have membership. It's as low as $1. So don't be left out. Be part of our members, you know. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'm going to see you in the next one. Right now, I just want to say bye.